In this video, I'm going to show you why strength training is the best tool to actually lose weight. I'm going to show you how to use it to get in the best shape of your life. First, we need to briefly talk about how weight loss actually works and why strength training is so effective for it. At the most basic level, weight change is the product of caloric intake versus caloric expenditure. And when we use more calories than we actually take in that day, we use our extra stored energy. So in that case, weight loss is the product of the relationship between the calories you take in and the calories that you expend, often referred to as calories in versus calories out. So why does weight training work so well at making this happen? To understand this, we need to talk about our basal metabolic rate. Simply put, basal metabolic rate is the amount of calories that your body needs to maintain its current state. This is measured outside of any form of activity throughout the day. Our basal metabolic rate makes up about 60 to 70% of the calories that we burn in a day, which is a lot. The amount of calories that we actually burn in a day as a result of exercise is very small, often about 10%. So you may be asking, why does our basal metabolic rate even matter? Well, our basal metabolic rate is directly tied to the amount of muscle mass that we have on our body. The more muscle that we have on our body, the higher that our basal metabolic rate is. The higher our basal metabolic rate, the more calories that we burn in a given day. This shows that strength training, which has been proven time and time again to be the most effective way to gain muscle mass, will be incredibly effective when trying to also lose weight. So how do we actually do this? Well, there are lots of videos out there that can tell you everything you need to know on how to get started, including videos on my page, but I want to leave you with a few key points. The first thing that you need to do is to train. I would recommend training anywhere from 2 to 7 days a week at a moderate intensity. Go pretty heavy on the weight. I don't want you to just take some really light weight and to throw it around for 30 reps for each set. Another tip is to make sure that you're eating a lot of protein in your diet. Protein intake has been shown to increase muscle mass growth, which will in turn increase your basal metabolic rate and thus increase your caloric expenditure throughout the day. Now, the most important part through all of this for losing weight is to actually be eating in a caloric deficit. If you want to know how many calories you're supposed to eat in a day, just go online and search calorie calculator, and there's tons of websites out there that will tell you how many calories you're supposed to eat in a day based on your height, weight, and activity level. Of course, these aren't going to be perfectly accurate, but they're pretty good estimates when you're getting started with these things. And guys, the most important factor that's going to ensure that you're actually making progress over time is consistency. I'm going to be honest, these changes do not happen overnight. It's going to take weeks, months, maybe years. Something I want you to keep in mind is that the number on the scale may not represent the progress that you're actually making. For example, the number on the scale may say over time that you're not losing any weight or even that you're gaining weight. But what that could mean is that you're losing fat and gaining muscle at the same time. Muscle weighs more than fat, so if that were to happen, you may even be gaining weight. But the scale wouldn't show it. So what I would recommend is to use progress pictures throughout this journey. It's often hard to see the differences in your body from day to day, but if you're taking pictures over time, you can go back to a picture of you from a month ago and realize how much progress you've actually made. Just because something is simple does not mean that it is easy. But if you continue to work at this day in and day out, you will see progress over time, and I can promise you that you will reach the goals that you are looking for.